Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 5, otherwise entitled Kiss Kiss Breach Breach. But of course, before I get into anything else, let's actually watch that trailer.
He's someplace special. I'm leaving you in charge. We're good. Rest easy, lovebird. Maybe I was sleepwalking?
It happens when you suppress your powers.
I can't trust myself.
The Flash, new episode next Tuesday at 8/7 Central, only on the CW.
So obviously the title of Kiss Kiss Breach Breach is a take on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is a movie. Is it Shane Black? I think it's either a Shane Black or a Guy Ritchie movie, one of the two. But obviously there's going to be too many similarities to that movie, just outside of the title. But of course, last episode we saw pretty much Ramsey Rosso, I think, cross the bridge to becoming Bloodwork. Like, he's pretty much swinging around Central City as like Venom-like powers as Bloodwork. So I think he's crossed the bridge. It'll be interesting to see when he officially takes on the name of Bloodwork. But we did, of course, see the whole team leader thing come up with Cisco and Barry, and then, of course, towards the end of the episode, we saw the new Harrison Wells for this season, that being Nash Wells, go underground, use that little device that Cisco had now made for him, and he finds out where the Monitor is goddamn hiding. What a way to end the episode. But of course, before we get into the actual breakdown of this trailer, let's quickly go over the synopsis or description for the episode, as it does give us a bit more context as to what's going on. But of course, before that, be sure to let me know all of your... But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know all of your various opinions on what you're looking forward to in the episode, what catches your eye and stuff like that, just all your different theories and stuff in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're just looking forward to, I guess, the episode, and you're just hyped for it, why not drop a like at the video to show your support? Cisco's faith in his ability to fill Barry's shoes as team leader is upended when he learns of a shocking murder. Meanwhile, Killer Frost trusts no one except herself to hunt down the dangerous Ramsey Rosso. But yeah, to start off the trailer, no, your computer or your TV screen or your phone screen isn't broken. The trailer or promo you watched was in black and white. It seems they're going for that like 1950s television feel, most likely. Now, will the episode be in black and white completely? I saw a lot of people actually confused about that and asking that, and I think the answer is no. There might be scenes in black and white, which would be interesting, especially in the whole like fake realities, if you want to call it, that Cisco might experience in the episode, but the whole episode itself won't be in black and white. I don't think, at least. It'd be definitely an interesting episode if it wasn't completely black and white, but I highly, highly doubt it is. Now, we do see that Barry and Iris are actually going away. They just seem to go on random holidays. I don't think there was any setup of this last episode. I think it's just one of those things where, they got this time off. Maybe they can't find Ramsey, so Iris and Barry are just taking some time for themselves and enjoying, I guess, the time they have before Barry's meant to supposedly die in crisis. So maybe that's happening here, and then, Cisco can have a test run as team leader. But we do see Iris with her, natural hair look, if you want to call it. That was brought up a lot, I think, before the season even started. It is clear why it is like this now, though. Like, they're going on holiday, she's getting her hair into the theme of things, if you want to call it. But of course, this was brought up by Candace before I think the season even started, that the showrunner let her use the natural hair, but they said that it was like a complete reason for it. So now we know the reason. It's because they're going on holiday. Now, as I alluded to before, Cisco is being given like a trial run, if you want to call it, as team leader. He gets to fill in there. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this trial goes. I'm expecting some banter between him and Ralph, and you never know, the new Nash Wells might show up and go, what's doing for a bit. But yeah, and even some Frost stuff. I'm sure Killer Frost will make some snarky remark that might trigger Cisco a bit. But speaking of Cisco, he does get some weird visions that he is sort of confused by. He's not sure if he's like sleepwalking or something along those lines. You can see him with I think it's a pair of scissors, and then like sort of freaking out and dropping them. As I said, because the whole trailer is in black and white, it's hard to tell what would be fake and what is real, because it's going to be hard to tell from this trailer, at least, if the episode represents that by like a color change or not. But it will be pretty interesting to see what Cisco goes through. Like, is it that bad that he literally sees people, or is it just more like maybe he's tempted to do certain things? It's going to be interesting because we haven't really dived into sort of like some side effects of having the vibe things out of actually seeing the future. It seems like he's going to see a different reality almost. So I'm intrigued, very intrigued to see what they do there. But we do hear Cisco say that he can't trust himself, and that's because he might, see people doing things to him that aren't real. So, for example, he might see Breacher come at him with a an axe or something, or even Breacher just walking towards him looking like he's going to punch him. But in reality, Breacher might be walking over to him with an ice cream cone saying, "Look, Cisco, I bought you an ice cream cone." But Cisco sees as the other thing. So due to this, Cisco could potentially be endangering people if he reacts to, instead of someone bringing them an ice cream cone, he thinks they're bringing, an axe towards their face. So this could be pretty dangerous for Cisco, especially if he's got a weapon in his hands, like, say, a big pair of scissors. Now, Breacher, I mentioned his name before, aka Josh, shows up. He tells Cisco it is a result of suppressing his powers. So does this mean Cisco, still has a bit of the whole metagene thing working within him that could be released from its dormant state after taking that cure last season? Because there was big talk about, when Carlos Valdez did actually stay on the show as Cisco, is there a reason specifically that they would keep his powers from going away? And then obviously in episode 2, when Barry got put his mind, if you want to call it, past the antimatter wall and actually got to see what happens in Crisis, we saw Killer Frost running, Elongated Man running, and Cisco running as Vibe. So that, scene in the future definitely heavily alluded to the fact that Cisco would be getting his powers back, or would at least be dressing up as Vibe. But would you dress up as Vibe if you didn't have if you didn't have the powers? It sort of wouldn't make sense, would it? So it will be interesting to see what happens here. I've always said that they could easily do something if Cisco couldn't get his powers back per se. They could do something where he builds gauntlets that sort of replicate the Vibe ability, and even put those little breach devices in there so you could open breaches if you wanted to. But obviously I think it'd be more natural if Cisco had his powers back, but I'm intrigued to see how it all works. But I guess the big question is whether, does Breacher sense Cisco struggling, or is he here for another completely different reason and just coincidental that he comes here when Cisco's experiencing all these issues? Because in another trailer for this season, before the season even started, we did see Breacher at the end of Cisco and Camilla's bed, sort of sitting in the middle of it, looking pretty sad. Now, is there a chance that Earth-19 might have met the fate of Earth-2, so destroyed by antimatter? Because I did bring this up in the video I specifically went over the map in, but there was that map that Jay Garrick had on, in his place on Earth-3 that showed the whole multiverse and where antimatter had showed up. And with Earth-19, there was a decent amount of antimatter just, flying around it. So maybe that caught up to them, and maybe its time finally came, and Earth-19 was destroyed. So that would mean a big rip for Gypsy and Accelerated Man, but maybe Breacher might have just gotten away, might have seen it happening, quickly breached away, or maybe he vibed it and sensed it coming or something along those lines, and maybe Gypsy wasn't fortunate enough and Breacher just didn't have enough time to find her or something like that. That would be pretty interesting if that's what happens there, because if Earth-2 is going to be destroyed there, you think we would see other Earths starting to get destroyed in the lead up to Crisis, and I think it makes sense if we met some of the people that survived from that, maybe. I don't know. Or they can do something where maybe someone was just murdered that Breacher knew, maybe like Gypsy or someone like that, because the synopsis does talk about Cisco's sort of team leader role being upended when he learns of a shocking murder. And what would be more shocking than Gypsy for Cisco and Breacher? That's the only person that's really mutual between them. So you'd have to think it's her. But obviously, as I said earlier in the video, we saw at the end of last episode, Nash Wells, or the new Harrison Wells, find pretty much where the Monitor's hiding out, I guess, or his base of operations would be. Now, I guess the big question is, does Nash Wells become Pariah, or is he just looking for something that the Monitor also needs for Crisis, and he doesn't become Pariah? Because you would think he'd have to meet the Monitor in this episode, maybe, or maybe almost get caught out by the Monitor, or something along those lines. I mean, Nash Wells was seen on set in the costume he wears on the show right now, and Pariah should be someone that is already Pariah when Crisis starts. So it will be interesting to see what direction they go with this, but yeah, we should get a side story with Nash Wells in this episode, maybe learn more about what's going on there, but yeah, that was a pretty big surprise. I think a lot of people were like, whoa, wasn't expecting that at the end of last episode. And obviously, as the synopsis does say, we do have Killer Frost, trusting no one except herself to hunt down the good old dangerous Ramsey Rosso. So she's after Ramsey Rosso in this episode. I guess it will be interesting to see if Ramsey finds another group of people to kill and maybe get even stronger, because we are now, that was the halfway mark. Episode 4 was the halfway mark in the Ramsey Rosso Bloodwork arc, so you would expect things to sort of ramp up a bit to the point where he is completely Bloodwork. And episode 7 and 8 is obviously going to be a big two-parter for that whole story, to the point where it's pretty much going to be Barry versus Bloodwork the entire, or at least Team Flash versus Bloodwork for that entire 2-episode run. But they still have to do a lot in these, like, you know, episode 5 and 6 to at least set up to that point. In episode 6, we know that Barry and Ralph are going to Midway City, which was sort of set up in episode 4 as well. So there's a lot to go on. It's going to be like bang, 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 or kiss, kiss, bang, bang, if you want to call it, in episode 5 and 6 in the lead up to that 2-part finale. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do, because I think Ramsey's a pretty creepy and a pretty scary villain. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on the trailer. What caught your eye? What are you looking forward to the most? What are your different theories around Cisco? Do you think he's getting his powers back in this episode, or do you think it's going to lead to maybe him creating a device to maybe help him out a bit? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.